Hello, welcome to my presentation about HIV. So, what is HIV and how did it originate? Well, to start off, HIV stands for Human Immunodeficiency Virus. It is also known to lead to AIDS if not treated. It started in around the 1920s in Central Africa due to a similar chimpanzee virus called SIV, or in other words, Simian Immunodeficiency Virus. People used to hunt chimpanzees around this time, and this virus has made its way to humans as people came in contact with it with their infected blood. Scientists still don't know the exact date HIV originated, but they have speculated it could have been around in the late 1800s. So this is the taxonomy of HIV. HIV, or HIV-1, which is its species name, belongs to the kingdom Paranavirae. It is also in phylum Arthroviricota, class Retroviruses, order Orthovirales, family Retroviridae, genus Lentivirus, subfamily Orthoretrovirinae, and its realm is Riboviria. Now let's talk about the basic structure of the HIV virus. The HIV virus basically consists of capsid integrates two identical strands of RNA, reverse transcriptase, matrix, lipid membrane, and glycoprotein. Capsid is located inside, surrounding the viral genome. Integrase is what is released by HIV into the cell nucleus to insert its viral DNA into the DNA of the host cell. RNA in HIV gets converted to HIV DNA in order for the virus to enter the cell's nucleus and combine with the cell's DNA. Reverse transcriptase is used for helping the HIV RNA convert into HIV DNA. The matrix is just a protein that helps with the structure of the cell and helps in the early stages of replication. Lipid membrane is the viral envelope which mainly protects RNA and is the double-layered surface of the cell. To end off, glycoprotein is crucial in binding and fusion as it is located on the surface of the envelope, serving to identify and bind to receptor sites on the host membrane. So how is HIV transmitted? Again, the main way HIV can be transmitted is through sex. Many body fluids such as blood, semen, preseminal fluid, rectal fluids, vaginal fluids, and breast milk are able to transmit HIV, but there are still other ways of transmitting HIV. This may include sharing needles and other types of injections, such as drug injections, a mother passing it to their baby, or even through contaminated blood transfusions and organ transplants. Alright, what is the process of infection? The life cycle of an HIV virus contains 7 different stages as shown. To summarize all of this, it starts off by the HIV binding to the receptors on the surface of the cell, then the HIV envelope and the cell-cell membrane fuse, then HIV releases and uses reverse transcriptase. After that, HIV releases integrase into the cell's nucleus, and then HIV actually begins to use the cell's machinery to make long chains of HIV protein. In the assembly phase, the new HIV proteins and HIV RNA start to move towards the surface of the cell and assemble into non-infectious HIV. And lastly, in the budding phase, new infectious HIV is formed as protease breaks up the long protein chains in the immature virus. So what are the signs and symptoms? Approximately 2/3 of the people infected with HIV will experience a flu-like illness for a couple of days after about 2 to 4 weeks. Some of these symptoms might include experiencing a fever, chills, a rash, night sweats, muscle aches, sore throat, fatigue, swollen lymph nodes, or mouth ulcers. Although these are possible symptoms and signs, the rest of the people will not get any symptoms during the early stages of HIV. How is HIV diagnosed? HIV can mainly be tested through some saliva or blood tests. This includes antigen tests, antibody tests, nucleic acid tests, blood samples, or point-of-care tests. So which parts of the body are infected? The main part of the body that is really infected is the immune system. More specifically, the virus attacks the white blood cells known as T cells or CD4 cells. What are some possible treatment and prevention methods? There are some possible prevention methods and safety measures you can take. Some of these methods may include choosing less risky sexual behaviors, using condoms, limiting your number of sexual partners, getting tested and treated for STDs, post-exposure prophylaxis, which is a medicine to prevent HIV after a possible exposure, and lastly, do not inject drugs. A treatment method HIV patients use is antiretroviral therapy. This is where they basically just take many different HIV medicines daily. Unfortunately, though, as of now, there is no cure for HIV. So these are some interesting stats about HIV. Last year, there were approximately 37.6 million people around the world with HIV. 1.5 million of these people were newly infected with HIV, and a total of 77.5 million people have been infected with HIV since the start of it. And lastly, South Africa has the highest number of people living with HIV in the world, coming in at 7.5 million people, while Eswatini has the highest prevalence in the world with 27%.